Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Johnny with Rules for Rebels, and today we're going to be talking about why altcoin prices are crashing. So, I apologize, I look kind of crazy this morning. I was rushed out of the house. I got these big, like 50, 60 foot tall trees in my front yard, and I don't know if you guys have it everywhere. In Chicago, we have these Asian beetles that I guess aren't from the area, but got brought over in shipping containers or something. Anyhow, they burrow into the trees, kill the trees, and then you have limbs falling over and stuff. So ComEd or the city, whatever, wanted to cut them down. So without warning, the guy showed up at, I don't know, 7:30 this morning. Hey, can you move your cars? And I have no street parking, so I was like, shit, I got nowhere to move. So wound up having to pack all my stuff up and run out of the house real quick. So getting into why altcoin prices are crashing, though, you guys may have noticed, because I'm making this video with my phone, I don't have my Blockfolio app, but I mean, ARK is down huge from what, it was almost $5 probably, for something at least. That's down to, I don't know, $2.30, $2.50. Lisk, which was, you know, up in the $6, $7 range, is down into the $4 range. Metals getting hammered, Vertcoin's down, Coin's down, Litecoin's down. When Bitcoin's going really strong right now, right? And when Bitcoin recovered, Ethereum recovered pretty good. Litecoin never really recovered that well. So really, like, Ethereum's doing okay. Vertcoin's kind of holding its own. I think Monero's not doing too good. I think Dash is still doing okay. So there's a few altcoins kind of holding their own, but for the most part, altcoins are crashing. And the reason that's happening is because everybody's rushing into Bitcoin. Now, I'm sure most of you guys probably heard about this upcoming November fork, the Segwit 2 fork. I think it was going to be around November 1st. I watched a video from a guy who's really into the crypto space, and I guess they can calculate by how blocks are being mined, like when this Segwit 2 thing's going to happen. So I guess now it's looking more like on or around November 18th. But that's when we've all known about, right? We might get free Bitcoins. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because they're refusing to employ replay protection, which means you won't be able to safely transact on one chain without your coins potentially being stolen on the other chain, I believe is how that works out. So that one will be interesting. However, we have another fork coming up on October 25th. And this other fork is going to be called Bitcoin Gold. Now, Bitcoin Gold the whole purpose of it seems to be to get away from ASIC mining. Now, I'm not into mining. I'm not super, like, techie into the crypto space. So if somebody else wants to drop a comment and kind of clarify what's going on here, please feel free to do so. But basically, a lot of people say Bitmain, which is a company who makes a lot of these ASIC miners, and I guess the guy behind that company, I think, is that Jihan Wu, who everybody really, like, hates. I guess people are saying there's too much control in the hands of a few miners and a few companies. So what Bitcoin Gold aims to do is go to, I guess, graphics cards or like GPU mining, and that supposedly should kind of like level the playing field. The project isn't that organized. It's supposed to happen on the 25th, but they still haven't announced their block sizes. There's a lot of info that's not really clear. And early on, something a lot of people didn't like was they were going to have an ICO and sell 1% of the coins. Well, if you remember back with Bitcoin Cash, nobody had to buy anything, right? Like if you had one original Bitcoin, when it forked, you had a Bitcoin Cash and everybody just got free Bitcoin. If you wanted to buy it, you could obviously buy it from other people. With the case of Bitcoin Gold, they were going to say, okay, we're going to sell this. So the developers wanted to keep some money for themselves. That obviously got a lot of kickback and a lot of resistance. People didn't like that. So they've pulled any traces of that off their website. It still, you know, remains to be seen if they're going to do that or not. But yeah, this Bitcoin Gold is coming out on the 25th. Doesn't seem to have as much support as Bitcoin Cash did. So it'll be interesting to see where the value is for that one. But with two upcoming forks, I think people are rushing into Bitcoin as they did with Bitcoin Cash, because they say, hey, I want my free money, I want my free coins. So, you know, if you're sitting on a bunch of Litecoin or Ethereum or other cryptocurrencies, you're going to sell those to get into Bitcoin so you can claim your quote-unquote free money. Well, here's one interesting thing, and I'm kind of doing the opposite. I'm not selling off all my Bitcoins, right? I'm keeping the majority of my Bitcoins, but I'm not selling off my altcoin positions. And I actually had sold some altcoins a few weeks back before the prices dropped. So it kind of how I do things. I have the majority of my Bitcoin on my Trezor. I keep a few Bitcoins in a Bittrex account to trade with, and those are kind of my Bitcoins to play with, to buy altcoins with, etc. So what I'm planning on doing is buying a lot of these altcoins on the dips when they're really, really low. And while free money is great, and while free money puts money in your pocket, at the end of the day, I think there's more money to be made buying these altcoins at huge discounts, and then after the forks happen, you know, people are going to not rush out of Bitcoin, but, you know, some people who like holding altcoins are going to come out of their Bitcoin position after they've gotten their free coins and go into some altcoins. Some people will probably use their Bitcoin Gold or Segwit 2 Bitcoins to buy more altcoins, and then we're going to see money flood back into the altcoins, and that should rise the price of the altcoin. So it's kind of weird what's going on right now. Normally, you know, when Bitcoin goes up, it brings all the other cryptos up with it, but what we're seeing now is all the money is rushing into Bitcoin because everybody wants their free Bitcoin Cash. So I don't know what these coins are going to come out at, but again, like, you know, right now Steam, I mean, you could have picked up Steam yesterday for 92 cents. At one point, Steam was like $2.50, $2.25. Steam can easily go up to $1.55, $1.60. So, I mean, if you can buy Steam at 90 cents, I would say probably within the next 2 or 3 months, you'll be able to sell it at, you know, $1.50. That's a pretty good gain. There's some other altcoins that I think have a possibility of like 3xing, 4xing. So Vertcoin's kind of holding its own. That might not be one, but I'm trying to think, like Navcoin. Navcoin was up to what, $1.50, $1.70, and now that's down to what, 56 cents or something like that. So I think you could see like $1 gain on the Navcoin. I think Navcoin could easily go back up to like $1.50 after the fork. And I think that 3x you're going to see off a coin like Navcoin is going to make you more money than you'd make collecting a couple free Bitcoin Golds or whatever else. So that's kind of my strategy. I'm curious to hear what you guys are going to do. You know, what's your plans for these upcoming forks? If anybody has any details or anything about Bitcoin Gold, please drop a comment below. I'm kind of, you know, Bitcoin Gold, this thing just came out of nowhere. It's not seeming to get a lot of attention, so there's not a lot of information out there about it. But Bitcoin Gold seems like it might be kind of a non-event. The Segwit thing might be better, but just kind of curious what you guys are doing to prepare for the upcoming forks. Do you think we're going to get free coins? Are you going to try to sell yours on the futures market and get more money? If you remember back to the whole Bitcoin Cash thing, the people who made the most money off their Bitcoin Cash were the people who had it on HitBTC and were able to sell futures for like $1,100, $1,200, $1,300. After that Bitcoin Cash crashed, it wound up coming back up to about $1,000, but the most money people could have gotten was selling the futures. So another way people got a decent amount of money was people who kept their Bitcoins on Bittrex. I know a lot of times people say don't keep your money on an exchange, but in that case, you know, like with my Trezor, I've talked about this before, it was a couple days before I could get my money, before I could claim my Bitcoin Cash and then send it over to Bittrex. Whereas people who had their money on like a Bittrex from the beginning, Bittrex split their coins for them and they were able to trade before most of the rest of us, because most of these exchanges had their Bitcoin Cash deposit shut down. So if you had your money on the exchange going in, it forked and you could have sold it. The rest of us had to wait a few days till they got their stuff in order until we could then deposit. So what are you guys planning on doing? You guys planning on keeping some Bitcoin on exchanges? Are you planning on going to altcoins? You planning on pulling out entirely until this stuff's all over? Curious to hear what you guys are doing. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up, share, all that good YouTube jazz, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.